Hello, good morning, children. Today we are going to look into the derivation of the critical constants from the Vanderwaals constants. Okay, critical constants are Pc, Vc, and Tc, where P, V, and T stands for pressure, volume, and temperature. So, the Vanderwaals equation for n moles comes from the ideal gas equation. The ideal gas equation is PV become equal to nRT. N is Avogadro's number, R is the gas constant, T is the temperature, P stands for pressure, and V stands for volume. Okay, now according to the Vanderwaals equation, applying the pressure correction and the volume correction, pressure correction after applying it, you add a correction value, and for volume correction, you subtract it from the original volume. So this is the correction that is being added on to pressure, P plus A by V square, and you also take n number of moles into account. And for volume correction being added, you'll have to subtract it from the original volume. So V minus NB, N stands for the number of the moles that are being used. This becomes equal to nRT. Let us name it as a particular equation. Number 1, you can put it when you're writing it down for your exams. This can become number 1. Now if I'm going to take n is equal to 1, so all the values for n gets changed over to 1. So the equation 1 changes over as P plus A by V square into V minus B becomes equal to RT. Now, we are going to derive the values of PC, VC and TC in terms of a correction, okay, a constant, Vanderwaals constant A and B. So, this equation, which will be number 2, when it is being expanded, I'm going to multiply this bracket with this bracket. Okay, so P into V, okay, PV plus AV by V square. So V and V gets cancelled. So you will get it as A by V plus, take the next term. Okay. P into B. Okay. P into B and multiply this and with B. It will become plus into minus becomes equal to minus. So AB by V square. AB by V square. And this, when it comes over to the other side, and I can equate it to 0, this becomes minus RT. So minus RT comes on the left hand side, becomes equal to 0. You can mark this equation as equation number 3. Okay, so the first equation will be this one, this will be your second equation, and this will be your third equation. Now I'm going to multiply this third equation totally by a term which is V square by P, and then find out what is the value that I'm going to get. So the whole thing, this whole thing I'm going to multiply by V square by P. So that is what is written here. If I'm multiplying by V square by P, the whole term. Now what do I get? I get it as what is that? V square by P into PV. So what is it? P and P gets cancelled. V square into V becomes changed over into V cube. Okay, so the next term, each term multiplied by V square by P. So A into V, A by V into V square by P. One of the V from the denominator and the numerator gets cancelled. So one V volume on the numerator remains back. AV by P will be the value here for the second term. Take the next term. Okay, A plus what is that? PB into V square by P. What is the value you will get? Minus B square, BV square. Take this term, AB by V square into V square by P. So V square and V square gets cancelled up. Your remaining you'll get AB by P. Same way, RT minus RT into V square by P. What do I get? Minus RT V square by P. This becomes equal to your fourth equation. Okay. Now, you're going to rearrange this fourth equation in terms of the powers of the V. So you have V cube, V squares, V square here also, V alone and a term without V. So rearrange it and you will get this equation number 5. After getting the equation number 5, now I'm going to find, this is a cubic equation in volumes. Okay, now I'm going to find out Okay. What happens when V becomes equal to Vc? C stands for critical temperature. Okay, I'm going to change all our pressure into Pc and temperature as Tc. Okay, critical temperature, critical pressure, and critical volumes. So I have this one, V minus Vc becomes equal to C. Now what is V minus Vc, the whole cube? This also becomes equal to 0. This is similar to a mathematical expression, a minus b the whole cube. What is the value that your maths teacher has taught you? Or if you do not know, learn the full form. Expanding of a minus b the whole cube becomes equal to this value, a cube minus 3a squared b plus 3ab square minus b cube. Okay, this is what you'll have to remember. You have to by heart this equation. Now instead of a, I'm going to have v. Instead of B, I'm going to use it as VC. So, applying the same formula, find out the expansion of V minus VC whole cube. This is written as our equation? Sixth equation. Okay, this will be written as our sixth equation. Now, this sixth expression is identical to the fifth expression. Okay, the fifth expression over here. Okay, so I'm going to compare the fifth and the sixth expressions here. When I compare the fifth and the sixth expressions for each of the cubes, v cube, then v squares, v only v, and the term without v, which is considered as vc. When I consider, I get this equation for v cube, v square. I get this one for this one for v square, and this one for vc cube. Okay, mark down these equations with the particular numbers. Okay, maybe this will be 7, 8 and 9. Okay, so change of these values to that particular equation number, and you're going to derive. When I divide 9 by 8, okay, divide 9 by 8, I get this final equation, vc by 3 is equal to b. So how do I rearrange it? Only VC, what do I get for VC alone? VC becomes equal to 3B. Okay, this is the first constant, critical constant VC we have calculated from the Vanderwaals equation. Okay, for n number of moles. Okay, and n is equal to 1. We have calculated the value of VC. Similarly, you can calculate the value of PC. Okay, and you can also calculate the value of TC. Now, if you are not able to calculate all these things here, at least by heart this value of PC and the value of TC. Okay, and this expression, mark it as number 11, and this would be equation number 12. Okay, now these are critical constants. PC, VC and TC are called as the critical constants. And from each of these critical constants, okay, VC is equal to 3B. What is the value of B? B will be equal to VC by 3. I can find out the values of A, see B is equal to VC by 3. I can also calculate the value of A. A and B, they are called as the Vanderwaals constants. Okay, so if you are asked a derivation of the critical constants PC, VC and TC from the Vanderwaals constants, you will start from the ideal gas equation and go on to find out what is the value of VC, what is the value of PC, and derive the value of TC, and hence find out the way to calculate A and B, which are called as the critical constants. Vanderwaals constants, critical values of Vanderwaals constants A and B can be found out. Okay, children.